The story begins in a quiet village of Arkham, where we see a girl named Lavinia Gardner secretly performing witchcraft by chanting spells. She was praying to some cosmic magical force to remove the cancer from her mother's body. But suddenly, her concentration breaks when an unfamiliar man arrives there from behind. He immediately apologizes and says that his name is Ward. He also explains that he is a hydrologist who has been sent there to conduct a survey. After a brief conversation, Lavinia rides away on her horse and leaves the place. After reaching home, we see her parents, Nathan and Teresa. From their conversation, we learn that their family had recently left the city and moved there, and both of them were really enjoying this peaceful life. That night, Lavinia's older brother Benny was busy on his computer when suddenly the screen started blinking strangely. On the other side, her younger brother Jack was also sensing strange things around him. With every passing moment, his fear kept increasing. Then suddenly, a swirling purple cloud began descending from the sky, but their parents were so busy that they did not pay much attention to it. Now Jack slowly and fearfully stepped out of his room, and the moment he came outside, his eyes fell on their dog Sam, who somehow suddenly looked far more dangerous than before. Then within moments, that strange light started spreading rapidly across the entire area. Everywhere was filled with a blinding glow. Suddenly, a massive explosion occurred. At that exact moment, Jack screamed loudly in fear, and his scream woke up the entire family. Everyone immediately ran outside, but the moment they saw the scene outside, they were completely shocked. They saw a glowing stone embedded in the middle of the ground, and a very strange and foul smell was coming from it. But the real fear began when they looked at Jack. He was completely silent, as if he still had not recovered from the shock. The next morning, the mayor and the sheriff arrived there to investigate the stone. They noticed that the stone was still hot, but despite many attempts, nobody could understand what it actually was. After some time, Ward also arrived there. According to him, it could be a meteorite. He explained that such stones usually break apart after hitting the ground, although it is not necessary every time. Then a worried Nathan asked the mayor, "Can I take my son to the hospital?" But the mayor coldly replied, "There are not many options in this area. You city people should have sold this place the first chance you got." After a while, Ward asked if anyone else lived on this land. Nathan replied that a man named Ezra did live there, but talking to him was almost impossible. After this, Benny took Ward to Ezra's cabin. But surprisingly, it seemed as if the old man already knew about Ward beforehand. Without asking anything, he invited both of them inside. There, Ward met Ezra's cat. Then, when Ezra offered him water to drink, Ward felt that there was something strange about it. That is why he refused to drink it and said that he would test it first. Suddenly, a terrifying storm began outside, and the moment Lavinia saw the lightning flashing, she curiously ran outside. Nathan tried to bring her back inside, but at that very moment, both of them saw lightning striking directly onto the meteorite, and with every strike, it started glowing even brighter. Meanwhile, Ward was checking the water with a testing strip, and within seconds, the strip turned deep purple. The next morning, Nathan and Teresa discovered that the meteorite had disappeared from its place. Seeing this shocked both of them. At the same time, they noticed a beautiful flower blooming near the well, as if something had changed there overnight. Meanwhile, the media had also arrived to cover the incident, and seeing all this made Nathan extremely irritated. That evening, the entire family was watching Nathan's interview on television. But during the interview, the reporter casually mentioned that Nathan had seen a UFO. Hearing this immediately filled Nathan's face with anger. On the other hand, Teresa was standing in the kitchen. The moment she cracked an egg open, strange blood-like liquid came out from inside it. But strangely, she did not pay much attention to it. Then she started cutting carrots. Just then, Jack came near her, and because of the distraction, Teresa accidentally cut off 2 of her fingers. The strangest part was that she still gave almost no reaction to it. Seeing this, Nathan immediately decided to take her to the hospital, and before leaving, he told Benny, "Until I return, the responsibility of this house is yours." The next morning, Benny honestly took their farm animals outside to graze. But after some time, Lavinia noticed that the animals still looked hungry and were eating grass outside. She immediately started scolding her brother and told him to take all of them back inside. Just then, her attention shifted toward Jack, who was sitting alone and whistling. Lavinia asked him, "What are you doing?" Jack replied that he was talking to the man in the well. But Lavinia did not pay much attention to his words, because at that same moment her head started spinning, forcing her to go back inside the house. After some time, Lavinia received a call from her father. But strangely, neither of them could properly understand each other's voice. They could only hear weird and distorted sounds. Meanwhile, we see Jack once again reaching the well. There, he notices a strange pink egg that slowly begins to crack open. Within moments, a horrifying insect-like creature crawls out from inside it. It silently stares at Jack for a while, and then flies away. Inside the house, Lavinia was washing dishes. When she tried to clean the knife that had cut Teresa's fingers, the sink suddenly began overflowing, and the next moment, blood-mixed water spread all over the floor. Seeing this terrified Lavinia. At that exact moment, she received another call from her father, but once again, only broken and distorted sounds could be heard. Hearing all this made Lavinia so disturbed that she suddenly vomited. At that very moment, Ward arrived outside the door, but Lavinia told him, "Go away for now. I'll meet you later." Then Ward explained that he wanted to tell her something about the water. The water here has been contaminated. It's absolutely not safe to drink. Meanwhile, Lavinia was feeling dizzy. She replied, "Yes, what you're saying is true," and then closed the door. Outside, Ward noticed Jack standing in front of the well. He asked him what he was doing there. Jack replied, "I'm talking to my friends." This sounded extremely strange to Ward. Later, Ward went to meet Ezra, but after entering the cabin, he saw the old man kneeling on the floor as if he were trying to listen to some sound coming from beneath the ground. Then Ward asked him where his cat was. Ezra replied that ever since these strange events had started, he had not seen the cat. Ward warned him as well to stay away from the water, but without saying anything, Ezra handed him a headset and told him to carefully listen to the sounds coming from underground. In reality, Ezra believed that aliens had arrived there along with the meteorite. However, Ward assumed it was probably just some underground disturbance. That is why he promised that the next day he would bring his devices there and properly investigate everything. Along with that, he also told Ezra to drink only bottled water. Sometime later, Nathan and Teresa were returning home from the hospital. Nathan tried comforting her by saying that the surgery had gone perfectly fine, and that was the most important thing right now. But tension was still clearly visible on Teresa's face. She immediately wanted to call home and check on the children, but nobody answered the call. Meanwhile, Jack was still sitting near the well. Suddenly, Sam also came near him, and the very next moment, a bright light covered the entire area. Then Sam suddenly became aggressive and charged toward the light while barking loudly, whereas Jack simply stared at everything silently. Inside the house, Lavinia entered Benny's room. There, his computer was glitching in a very strange way. At the same time, mysterious voices were echoing through the air, as if they were slowly trying to draw her attention toward them. A little later, Benny entered the room and explained that after hearing Sam barking, he had gone outside to search for him. But what he saw outside was extremely strange. He said that despite it being daytime, darkness had suddenly spread everywhere, and somehow he could not even find his way back home. Just then, the house phone suddenly started ringing. But the moment Lavinia picked it up, she once again heard those terrifying, broken, and distorted voices. At the same time, the lights inside the house also started blinking strangely. Now both brother and sister became worried about Jack, who was still outside. After some time, Nathan and Teresa finally returned home and saw Jack standing near the well outside. Nathan immediately got angry and started scolding both of his children. Then his eyes fell upon their farm animals who were still eating grass in the garden. Seeing this made him even angrier, and he began yelling at Benny. The children tried explaining to him that something very strange was happening inside the house, but Nathan refused to believe a single word they said. After locking the animals inside, Nathan started searching for Sam, but the dog was nowhere to be found. This made him start shouting at the children once again. Lavinia tried explaining to him that all of this was happening because of some strange force, but Nathan assumed the children were simply making excuses, so he ignored them and went back inside. The next morning, Nathan discovered that his crops had fully grown almost an entire month earlier than expected, which shocked him greatly. On the other hand, Teresa was trying to talk with one of her clients, but the connection was so terrible that she became extremely frustrated. In anger, she went to complain to her husband and told him to do something about the internet. But at that moment, Nathan was busy tasting the tomatoes. However, the moment he ate them, his face suddenly changed. All the tomatoes tasted absolutely horrible. Furious, he started throwing them one by one into the trash can. A little later, frustrated and hopeless, he sat down on the sofa and began drinking alcohol. But he also added ice into the drink that had been made from the same contaminated water. Meanwhile, on television, the mayor was talking about the town's biggest construction project, a new water reservoir plan. During this moment, Nathan looked at his own hands and noticed that his skin had become strangely dry and cracked. His hands looked like those of an old man. That night, Jack suddenly woke up from sleep and silently walked out of his room. On the other side, Lavinia was quietly packing her belongings because she wanted to leave this place forever, but then her eyes fell upon her spell book. Outside, Jack went near Benny, who was staring at the strange colors spreading across the sky. Meanwhile, inside the house, Lavinia created a circle of candles and began performing a ritual while praying for help from some magical force. During the ritual, she even offered her own blood as a sacrifice. She was also drawing strange symbols. At the same time, both brothers heard a whistle-like sound coming from the animal's barn. Feeling nervous, they slowly moved toward it. Meanwhile, Teresa had also woken up and started searching for Jack. But the animals standing in front of the boys no longer looked normal at all. They had transformed into horrifying monsters. Just then, those strange colors began spreading once again. And terrified, both brothers immediately ran back toward the house. Outside, the two brothers ran into their mother. Without wasting a second, Teresa tightly hugged Jack. But the very next moment, that strange light struck both of them like lightning. Poor Benny watched this horrifying scene from a short distance away. Hearing all the noise, Nathan also rushed there. And the moment he saw what was happening, he was completely horrified. Everyone quickly carried Teresa and Jack back inside the house, and then tried calling the hospital and the police, but none of their phones had any signal. At that very moment, Lavinia suddenly came downstairs covered in blood, but the second she looked at her mother and brother, she froze in terror. In reality, both of them had somehow fused together into a single body in a horrifying way. The next morning, the entire area was once again covered in that same purple fog. Nathan tried starting the car, but it refused to work. Seeing this filled him with rage. Meanwhile, inside the house, Lavinia was trying to help her mother and brother who were screaming in unbearable pain. At that moment, Lavinia finally realized that the meteorite which had fallen there had changed everything around it. Benny also said that it was not only changing things physically, but it was also affecting time itself. None of them even knew how long they had been sitting there in that condition. Just then, Nathan came back and explained that the car still would not start. Everyone's attention then shifted toward Teresa and Jack, who were screaming loudly in agony. Suddenly, Benny realized that sunlight was hurting them. He immediately closed all the curtains, and after that, all of them together carried Teresa and Jack into the upstairs attic. But even there, their pain did not lessen at all. Their horrifying screams echoed throughout the entire house. A little later, strange and terrifying noises also started coming from the farm animals. Hearing this, Nathan immediately grabbed a shotgun and angrily stormed toward the barn. After reaching there, he saw that all of his animals had merged together into one disgusting creature. Filled with rage, Nathan opened fire on it without thinking twice. A few moments later, the creature's screams finally stopped. Blood was spread everywhere, and seeing all this completely broke Nathan. He stood there crying helplessly. After some time, he returned to the attic and told his children that they should leave this place because he would handle the rest himself. Hearing this shattered the children emotionally, but they had no other choice. Eventually, after apologizing to their mother, they walked out of the house. After they left, Nathan slowly pointed the gun toward his wife. But the moment Teresa began crying, Nathan's heart changed. His emotions completely took over him. He lowered the gun, kissed Teresa, and promised that he would return with help. After this, the scene shifts to the town, where Ward had come to meet the mayor. He warned her about the water, but the mayor refused to listen to him. According to her, the construction of the new water reservoir would continue no matter what. While leaving the building, Ward met the sheriff. The sheriff showed him something that had been found on the Gardner family's property. The moment Ward saw it, he was horrified. In reality, it was a disgusting creature made from the fused bodies of several animals. At that moment, Ward realized that something extremely dangerous was happening to the Gardner family. Meanwhile, Lavinia and Benny tried to escape on horseback in search of help. But suddenly, the horse got frightened, threw them off, and ran away. Just then, Benny heard a voice coming from the direction of the well, and he thought it might be Sam calling for help. Without thinking, he immediately ran toward the well. Lavinia desperately tried to stop him, but Benny refused to listen. Eventually, he climbed directly down into the well, but in reality, it was a trap. The very next moment, that strange color emerged from inside the well and swallowed Benny into itself. After that, it dragged him deep into the darkness below. Watching her brother die right before her eyes completely shattered Lavinia. At that same moment, her father arrived there. Nathan angrily scolded her for trying to run away alone. By this point, he was already mentally broken because of everything happening around him. In his rage, he locked Lavinia inside the attic together with Teresa and Jack. No matter how much she begged him, he refused to let her out. His actions made it clear that Nathan was slowly losing his sanity. It felt as though he no longer had control over his own mind and body. Meanwhile, inside the attic, Lavinia's condition kept worsening. Her mother had now fully transformed into a horrifying monster that spoke in a disgusting voice. A little later, when Ward and the sheriff finally arrived at the house, Nathan welcomed them inside in a completely normal manner. But both of them quickly noticed the strange marks covering Nathan's hands. When they asked where the rest of the family was, Nathan pointed toward the empty living room and calmly replied, "They're all right here." Meanwhile, inside the attic, the monster suddenly attacked Lavinia. The creature kept saying, "I'm very hungry," while a terrified Lavinia begged it to stay away from her. Soon her screams echoed downstairs, causing Ward and the sheriff to immediately rush toward the attic. They forced the door open with great effort, but the moment they looked inside, both of them were horrified. Standing before them was that same terrifying creature. At that exact moment, Nathan arrived there and, without hesitation, shot the creature. Surprisingly, Jack was still alive. In a weak voice, he called Nathan Dad, but Nathan shot him as well and coldly said, "This is not my family." After this, Ward tried to take Lavinia safely outside, but suddenly that strange color appeared in front of them once again and tried to attack them. At the same moment, Nathan attempted to shoot at the color. However, the sheriff believed that Nathan was aiming at Ward and Lavinia. Because of this misunderstanding, the sheriff immediately opened fire on Nathan. Seeing this completely shattered Lavinia. Her entire family was gone. She ran toward her father and tried to save him, but it was already too late. Nathan died right in front of her eyes. Just then, everyone suddenly heard noises coming from Ezra's cabin. The sheriff immediately decided to go there and told Ward to come along with him. Ward also asked Lavinia to come with them, but she refused. According to her, "This is my home and I will not leave it behind." Before leaving, Ward promised her that he would come back. After that, he left for the cabin with the sheriff, but the moment they arrived there, both of them were horrified. They saw Ezra's lifeless body lying on the ground while that same strange color was glowing inside him. Nearby, a recording was playing in which Ezra explained that the color had entered through the well, and anyone who drank that water slowly came under its control. At that same moment, they noticed that the glowing light inside Ezra's body was about to burst out. Realizing this, Ward and the sheriff immediately ran out of the cabin. But the moment they stepped outside, a horrifying tree-like creature grabbed the sheriff and killed him within seconds. Now Ward was completely alone. After some time, he found Lavinia standing in front of the well, but now she had completely fallen under the control of that strange color. She slowly grabbed Ward, and the very next moment, horrifying visions began appearing before his eyes. He was now able to see the world of the aliens, a place that existed on some completely different planet. After some time, Ward somehow managed to free himself with great difficulty. But what was happening in front of him had become even more terrifying. He saw Lavinia slowly being absorbed into that swirling vortex, and within moments her body began breaking apart and scattering away. Seeing all of this terrified Ward so much that he ran back toward the house. But the moment he entered the house, he started seeing visions of the Gardner family. It felt as if even after death, they were still present there. Suddenly, Nathan got up and tried to attack him, forcing Ward to run downstairs into the cellar. At that same moment, the strange sound became even louder, and with every passing second, it grew deeper and more terrifying. Then suddenly, a massive explosion occurred, and immediately afterward, complete silence spread everywhere. After some time, Ward slowly came out of the cellar, but the scene outside was completely different. That strange color had destroyed the entire house. Everything was shattered and scattered around as if the whole place had been blasted into the air. Now only silent ruins covered in ash remained there. Some time after this incident, we see Ward standing near the new hydroelectric dam, the same project he had originally been sent there to investigate. Although the water there was now testing completely normal, Ward still knew he would never drink it, because the horror of what he had witnessed would never leave his heart. The strange color had disappeared, but just as he was about to leave, he noticed a bizarre insect hovering nearby in the air, proving that the danger was not truly over yet. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.